We gather here on land that was seized from the Abenaki. We deeply respect their relationship to the land and the waters of the Champlain Valley, and we aspire every day to learn more and live in harmony and respect with nature. Welcome, everyone, to today's service. Whoever you are, you're welcome here. Whatever your background, you're welcome here. Wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you're welcome here. If you're joining us for the first time or you're new, we have blue cards in the back. You can fill those out and we can keep in touch with you. And on behalf of the search team, we thank you all for coming today to listen to our prepared service. Let us start with our chalice lighting. On our screen, we can read it together. As we kindle the flame of our spiritual community, let us pay attention to the dance of its fire. It is not static. It does not stay the same. It ebbs and flows in spontaneous patterns of light and shade. May we find our way as a congregation through this dance of transition with spontaneity, responsiveness, and warmth.
This is The Future We Imagine by Anthony P. Johnson. Let us call upon the Spirit that moves among us, below us, above us, and through us. Let us call upon those who have gone before us, who have shown us the way, who have been with us as guides and examples. Let us call upon ourselves to imagine, to hope, to dream, and to do, that the future may build on the past, but not be confined by the past. That the future we imagine will be a new thing, and much more, and different, and better than anything we can imagine. Blessed be.
Please join us in hymn number 95, There Is More Love Somewhere.
So Good morning, everyone. I'm Priscilla Bremser. I'm on this lovely search team, and because we're trying to work together on something, I found a book that's about working together as a team. If you can, make sure you can position yourself so that you can see the screen, because the pictures are fabulous, and when I ordered the book, I didn't realize it was going to be kind of small, so probably better to look at it on the screen. So this is Up the Creek by Nicholas Oldland. Go ahead. Next page, please. There once was a bear, a moose, and a beaver who were the best of friends, though they often disagreed. One sunny day, the bear, the moose, and the beaver decided to go canoeing. The moose wanted to steer, but so did the bear and the beaver. They all sat in the stern. With so much weight in the back of the canoe, it tipped, and they ended up in the water. So they played eeny, meeny, miny, moe, and it was decided that the moose would steer. They all settled back into the canoe and began to paddle. The bear insisted on paddling port side, but the beaver and the moose also preferred the left. With everyone paddling on the same side, they traveled in circles. Soon their arms grew tired, so they began to switch sides. That's when they finally started to travel in a straight line. But just as they began to make progress, they came to a stop at a beaver dam. They all had different ideas as to how to get across. The beaver wanted to push the canoe, but that didn't work. The moose thought they should pull the canoe. That didn't work either. Fortunately, the bear figured it out. The only way across was to portage. Back in the water, the bear, the moose, and the beaver settled into a rhythm and started to really enjoy paddling along the river. And the moose is saying, "Stop splashing." And the bear is saying, "Keep paddling." And the beaver is saying, "I'm hungry." But it wasn't long before they began to argue. They argued so loudly that they didn't notice the current growing stronger or the quiet rumbling in the distance until it was too late. The river had turned into wildwater rapids. And Dorothy wants to be sure you notice the moose with his little hooves across his eyes. Thrown sideways, underwater, through the air, and everywhere, the bear, the moose, and the beaver held on for their lives. Exhausted, bruised, and wet, the three friends landed on a rock in the middle of the rapids. The moose wanted to burn the canoe to make a signal fire. The bear wanted to throw the beaver to shore to get help. The beaver figured swimming to shore would be safer. They argued over whose plan was best well into the night. The next morning, it dawned on the bear, the moose, and the beaver that they would have to work together to make it home safely. So they climbed back into their battered canoe, took a deep breath, and ran the rapids. They twisted, leaped, crashed, and blasted through the water. The rapids were fierce, but with the bear's powerful strokes, the moose's steady hoof, and the beaver's clever commands, they set a true, clear course. At last, the bear, the moose, and the beaver made it to shore. After a much-needed nap, the bear, the moose, and the beaver worked together to repair their canoe and paddles, catch some fish, and cook lunch. Before they tucked into their meal, they all gave thanks for the wildest adventure they had ever had. Rested and relaxed, the bear and the moose and the beaver were ready to set out for home. After taking a long look at the raging rapids, they decided to walk. And who could disagree with that? It's time to sing the children out, sorry.
Hi there, I'm Andrea, and I'm going to cover the pathways to connection. There are many ways, in addition to the Sunday service, to make connections at CVUUS. Today, we've shared them on our screen and on the back of your order of service, and I will highlight a few. The ice cream social today in the fellowship hall is downstairs right after the service. Then I wanted to point out Sun Day. Sun, I was going to bring my sunglasses, but sun as in S-U-N. Today, September 21st, noon to 3 at Triangle Park in downtown Middlebury. And this is sponsored by the Addison County Clean Energy Community, and it's celebrating power of clean energy to save money, to live healthier lives, and to confront the climate crisis by eliminating fossil fuels. So join us for a kid-friendly afternoon of live music, food trucks, an electric vehicle petting zoo, art projects, face painting, and advice on how to make the switch, get it? Switch to clean energy. An opportunity to learn how to get involved in our local efforts and more. And the crop walk is coming. I believe the date is October 5th, thank you. And last year I had to ask, because I'm new to this, so here's what I wanted to share for anyone who's new. Crop Hunger Walks are interfaith hunger education and fundraising efforts sponsored by the Church World Service and organized by the CWS local offices across the U.S. The Hunger Walks help to provide food and water as well as resources that empower people to meet their own needs, from seeds to tools, to wells, to water systems, to technical training, micro-enterprise loans. The key is people working together to identify their own development priorities, their strengths, and their needs. And this is something that has been in place for 68 years. For the folks who are participating and might even wish to be sponsored, could you put your hand up or maybe stand up so folks at the ice cream social can find you? So I know Marnie usually is one, and I see Mary, and I see Alan, and there's more. Okay. I also wanted to just call out tomorrow night in person here at CVUUS. We will have our first of 3 book read sessions for Dean Spade's Living in an Effed Up World, How to Raise Hell Together, I will just say. It's a really important book, and there will be 3 sessions in each. The first one will be chapters 1 and 2. And it will end with a potluck in October. Thank you.
So, before we take up the offering today, I would like to thank and acknowledge everyone who has helped with this somewhat unusual, possibly the most challenging service I have had the pleasure of working with 7 speakers, one of whom will be virtual, we hope. Our wonderful teammate, Elio, we hope we'll be able to see him. I would like to thank all of these incredible folks whom you chose to work together. You are brilliant in your choices. Our tech team, Richard and Mary, who are working very hard to make this work. Our camera op, Carl, the incredible, wonderful Flower Buds team for our lovely decor this morning, Jen and Brad for music, our social hour hosts, our friendly greeters and ushers, our RE assistants, and anyone else behind the scenes who has helped. It definitely takes a village, a congregation. This month, we share our plate with Addison Allies, whose purpose is to build a stronger, more diverse, inclusive community by providing needed services to needed services and social integration with migrant farm workers and immigrants living in Addison County, Vermont. Please be as generous this morning as you are able to this very worthy cause. So we have quite a few yellow cards this morning. Okay. From Scott Barkstall, thanks so much for all the care and concern as Pam Berenbaum heals from a broken femur. She lost her balance, fell in our house last Monday evening. Texts are good at the moment. She's at Helen Porter Rehabilitation this next week or so, and that's from Scott. Yeah. From Lance Zimmerman. My wife, Deborah Lewis, died 1 year ago tomorrow. I would like to thank everyone in the UU congregation for how welcoming you have been and for your caring and compassion over this last year. Thank you, Lance. This next one is from Jake Oven. It is a scary time for a trans person. Project 2025 creators are urging the FBI to brand us as terror threats. They are calling it transgender ideology-inspired violent extremism. Ronnie Jackson, a Texas Republican and former White House doctor, is calling for trans people to be removed from public life. He and Nancy Mace are calling for the institutionalization of all trans people. Jake says he could go on and on about the atrocities attacking their community, but ending with this, check in with your trans friends and family. We're in need of your support and love more than ever right now. We love you, Jake. From Andrea Sambrook. The Outright Vermont Fire Truck Pull is next Saturday, September 27th on Church Street in Burlington. This will be her 10th pull to support building a Vermont where LGBTQIA+ youth have hope, equity, and power. Please consider sponsoring Andrea and Jordan and Laura so that Outright can continue to expand its life-saving work. Look for Laura's QR code or rainbow tutus and salamander tails. That next Saturday. Incredible. And finally, from Mitch Kramer, happy birthday, Dinah. Okay, so there are many joys and concerns, milestones and passages. Even though we did have a lot today, I'm sure there are many in our hearts. We're going to take this time for a few moments of silent reflection on those joys and concerns, milestones and passages that are in our hearts.
I'm Dorothy Mammen, and I have two readings for us this morning. The first is from the UUA Ministerial Search Handbook, updated in this June, with a little bit of editing. A ministry search is an inherently hopeful act. When congregations enter search, they are eager to find a minister who will accompany and challenge them into their next chapter. Ministers are excited to find a congregation that wants to do the kind of work they love and are called to do. Our Unitarian Universalist ministries matter so much in our lives and to a hurting world. The stakes are high for each ministry search. It is best to approach a ministry search with hope for the future, love for our faith and congregations, inclusive practices, curiosity, candor, self-awareness, and a commitment to good process. These are the antidotes to the anxiety, competitiveness, bias, and sense of urgency or scarcity that can poison a search. Our second reading is a few excerpts from our Ministerial Search Team Covenant. from our retreat on August 15th and 16th. We will abide by the rules for the search process set by the UUA. We will represent our congregation and its members with honesty, care, compassion, and respect. We will cherish the unique gifts, perspectives, identities, and approaches to the work that we bring as individuals to the search team. We will be candid with our applicants about our congregation's challenges and history as we present a full and nuanced story. And we commit ourselves to an inclusive search process, recognizing the unique gifts and identities of ministers.
So, got me, Mary? Got me, Mary? How about now? Keep talking. We decided to run the service as more of a panel, and we each took a value or a factor in our search and delved into that. So today, and my name is Hannah Sessions, by the way. I didn't introduce myself before. Today, I am addressing hope, that elusive shapeshifter. Hope was considered a vice by the ancient Greeks and was later promoted as a virtue by Christianity. Hope continues to be very controversial as a concept. And I was able to find two definitions. One is, hope is a desire accompanied by expectation or belief in fulfillment. And one I like a little better, which is, hope is a feeling of trust. Hope for me can be like a cozy sweater or a wood stove, a place to retreat into myself and live with a small radius. But beware the trappings of hope. Hope can never be a means to an end. Hope must be paired with an action. Like a wood stove, it should be a reward for putting ourselves out into the world. Reverend Christina reminded us of this last week when she invited us to coffee hour and said, make sure to reach out to someone who's new, and if you're new, don't wait for someone to approach you. Reach out to someone yourself. I love the parable, 2 boats and a helicopter. A storm descends on a town, and flooding, terrible flooding is happening. A man is alone in his house and retreats to the roof of his porch. And his neighbor approaches him with a boat and says, come on, let's get in the boat and get out of here. No, I have hope that God is going to save me. Okay, so then the flooding gets worse. He goes onto his roof. Another neighbor approaches with a boat. Why don't you come on? It's really getting serious. No, I have hope that God will save me. Well, then comes a helicopter. This is your last chance. And the man says no. And he passes away, and when he's interviewed by God, he said, God, I had hope in you. Why didn't you save me? And God says, I sent you 2 neighbors and a helicopter. What more do you want from me? So hope without action is squandered at best and destructive at worst. So I see hope as our North Star. It's not our path, but with action, hope will reveal the path to us in sometimes ways that are unexpected. but it is up to us to have the courage to engage those paths. I agreed to be part of this search team because this congregation has an excellent track record with hope. Hope combined with action and trust. We have some of our founders in the room here today. That took a lot of hope and a lot of work to start a Unitarian Universalist congregation. We have engaged in many social justice movements, completed several fundraising campaigns, and 3 years ago, when our interim search didn't reveal maybe the candidate we thought, but revealed a different path, we had hope and we had trust to engage on a co-ministry journey. And 3 years later, here we are. You all said yes to this innovative model, and I think it's been a great path. This team has tremendous hope that we're going to find the right minister. And more importantly, we're doing the work to make that happen. And it relies on all of you, because we need to represent you to the best of our ability. And that's the work. We have our hope as our North Star. But as our hymn says about finding love and finding joy, I'm going to keep on until I find it. Thank you.
Can you stand up so we can see you when you speak?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Becky Strum, and I am going to be talking on the love of Unitarian Universalism and of our congregations. As the product of a mixed marriage, my father was Jewish, my mother had been raised a Southern Baptist. Growing up in the Midwest in the 1950s, I came to Unitarianism, it was still just Unitarianism then, after attending Episcopal Sunday School, Southern Baptist Bible School in the summers, the Ethical Culture Society, and 2 years of Hebrew school. When my folks found West Shore Unitarian in Rocky River, Ohio, coincidentally, the very same church that I learned that was served by Reverend Tricia Hart many years later. Both sets of my grandparents were sadly unsupportive of this mixed marriage and would make hurtful remarks about the other religion to me when I visited them. I was, as you might expect, pretty confused about religion. I was already a teenager, but I felt so deeply that I had found a home at West Shore where all parts of me could be accepted, where I could truly belong. I also found that I was a spiritual person, so in college I represented Unitarian Universalism on the chapel committee. When I lived in Ridgewood, New Jersey, I was a member of the Ridgewood, New Jersey Unitarian Universalist Society. And when moving to Vermont, I knew that I would find a sense of community and belonging here at CVUUS. And of course, that has been so true. My deep love of our faith and my experience in several UU congregations is in my heart as I serve this search for our new settled minister, so that those here now and those who will join us in the future can find the same sense of belonging that CVUUS has given me. And so I'd like to add on at this point that all of us on the search committee welcome your questions, your concerns. Please feel free to come up and talk to us at any time. Today, after the service in the ice cream social, would be a great time to share with us your thoughts. We will be having some organized conversations with various groups later on that you'll be hearing about very soon, but please feel free to speak with any of us at any time.
Hi, I'm Andrea, and I'm reflecting on inclusive practices as part of what Dorothy had begun. And I really liked what you started with, Dorothy, which is search is an inherently hopeful process. We did not plan this stuff, so this is beautiful. I'm so excited. I say hopeful not as in, I hope I get an A, but hopeful as in, I am holding a positive vision of a potential that has yet to be realized. As a person, I'm pretty comfortable with change, and I'm actually excited by it, and particularly intrigued by the concept of transformation, both for myself and for this community as we enter the search for our next settled minister. I feel alive when I think about what's the best of what is here now, what could be, what should be, what will be. If you don't already know this about me, my cup is truly filled when I interact, exchange, and build ideas among other people. I said yes to the search team because the answers to those questions get to be discovered not just by me, but by listening, inquiring, holding space with and for others, you. I learned a new idea when we were organizing for the Building Beloved community beyond the binary. That's that BBCBB back in April. And it's called, here's the word, PRI. I don't know if you can guess. I'll give it to you. Preemptive Radical Inclusion. And I learned it through the UU Syracuse CB Beale. And what it is to imagine that everyone is in the room from the very start. To ensure, what do we need to ensure a braver and a safer space where everyone can grow and learn and not be afraid. As we organize BBCBB, I practice talking less, listening more, leading from behind. And with fewer of my words, space emerged for something more important, trust. Trust was what organized BBCBB. Trust was what got us through differences, oops and ouches. Trust was what allowed us to find consensus and say, in the face of the unknown, good enough for now, safe enough to try. And I strengthened trust in myself too. It was a little over 2 years ago that I became a member of CVUUS on my birthday. I look back and I liken myself to this little chick that hatched out, and I imprinted on Jet Pig. To actively live values out loud with others, like together, was a powerful realization, not just that I am not alone, but that transformation can really only take place in right relationship with others. So I'd like to end with a quote from C.B. Beale, which is, we are shaping the future with the belonging that we make. Thank you.
I'm Ben Long, and curiosity is at the heart of why I chose to serve on the search committee this year. As a newer member of CVUUS, I appreciate and share core UU values, the ways our tradition encourages us to ask questions, explore many sources of wisdom, and grow in community. As a parent of 2 children involved in RE, I see each week how curiosity shapes their learning. Their questions about fairness, justice, compassion, and meaning remind me that curiosity is not simply a trait of childhood, but a vital spiritual practice for people of all ages. Serving on the search committee feels like a natural extension of this practice. The search process is, at its core, an exercise in collective curiosity. Curiosity about who we are as a congregation, about the stories and hopes of our members, and about the ways a new minister might help us live more fully into our shared values. For me, curiosity is not about rushing to find a single right answer. Instead, it is about remaining open, listening deeply, discerning thoughtfully, and allowing ourselves to be surprised by what we learn. In this work, curiosity serves as a bridge between personal growth and communal service. It calls me to bring humility, patience, and openness to every step of the process. I am curious about how our children's generation will experience Unitarian Universalism, and about the leadership we choose now, how the leadership we choose now will help nourish their questions, their faith, and their commitments to justice and compassion. Ultimately, my decision to serve is rooted in a desire to honor both my family's place in this community and the broader vision of our congregation. Curiosity guides me to listen fully, to weigh carefully, and to serve faithfully. By approaching this work with a spirit of discovery, I hope to contribute to finding a minister who will help us grow in love, deepen our spiritual life, and carry forward our shared UU principles together.
Hi, y'all. Can you hear me? Hi. It's, I'm like smiling so big. It's so delightful to be with you all. My life. So my word is candor. And my life since saying yes to the search committee really has been defined by candor, a frank honesty and openness that made me realize that my time in this place needed to end, but not my time in our congregation. It's a truth that made me move away a year sooner than I planned to and pushed me to reevaluate what I need. Um, I'm committed to making sure I continue to uphold my initial yes to this congregation, and I deeply thank each of you for the trust you have continued to place in me. When I think of approaching the search process with candor, I think of honesty with self, with team, with congregation, with candidate, and about our congregation to our candidate. I need to be honest because I'm accountable to this community. And as a community, we need to be honest about our hopes, needs, and growth areas. I accepted the recommendation to serve on the search committee because I wanted to ensure that our new minister knows how to connect with a trans person in their 20s. As I regularly vouch for this church in the larger community, I needed to be able to also deeply vouch for our new minister. I cannot tell you how many conversations I've had with community members who are queer, trans, or young, who have been harmed by religion, and who are desperately seeking intergenerational community, but have no clue which communities will properly care for them, and which will just say they will. For these folks, I serve as a test case. I am accountable to this larger community of misfits and searchers. And I need to be able to look them in the eye when I tell them with candor. that this church is cool and that they're really going to like our new minister. And I look forward to saying that same thing to all of you soon. Thank you.
Self-awareness. Self-awareness requires self-distancing, according to Professor Google. Self-distancing requires taking a moment, according to me. My gut response to an event can be valid, but at the same time, simplistic and out of proportion. It's worth allowing time to let the subtleties and the broader context emerge. My gut response to the request to serve on this team was to say yes, but I was aware that I needed a moment to think it over. When I did, I remembered that every time I have said yes to something at CVUUS, whether to serve on the committee or help with RE or sing in the choir, I have gotten way more out of the experience than I put in. Had I known who else was going to be on the team, it would have been even easier to say yes. I'm working with 6 wonderful individuals. On top of that, we're developing a sort of team self-awareness. So, for example, not just who prefers texts and who prefers emails, but which ways of connecting work in which type of situation. And everyone knows that Priscilla gets twitchy as we approach the ending time for a meeting, but the group understands that some conversations are more important than the clock. And what about this congregation's collective self-awareness? That's what this team is trying to encourage this fall. It will take a moment, and it will be worth it. Stay tuned.
In 1997, in preparation for a stint as president of CVUUS, I attended a week-long UU leadership training at New England Leadership School in Providence, Rhode Island. From this training, one phrase has particularly stuck with me over the years: trust the process. Trust the process. Now, 28 years later, on a ministerial search team, I'm here to talk with you briefly about commitment to good process. How cool is that? And I'm thrilled to do that because for this work, we have a great process that's been developed and refined by the UUA based on abundant experience, modified with the times, and designed to help congregations and ministers find a good match. A key part of this process is representing our congregation with honesty, care, compassion, and respect, as you heard in the reading. To get that started, we did the congregational survey. If you haven't filled it out, you still can today. In October and early November, we'll be conducting a listening tour to meet with as many of you as we can in groups to dig deeper into your dreams for our next minister. On November 8th and 9th, we will have a congregational Break Barriers, Build Beliefs, sometimes called B4, weekend. There will be more coming out on that, but November 8th and 9th, Break Barriers, Build Beliefs. And by December 1st, our congregational record will be ready to publish. So for you, participating in this process is now October and November. After that, the magic happens, by which I mean a ton of work behind the scenes, reviewing applicants that are interested in us, meeting pre-candidates, and hopefully bringing a candidate to the congregation in April. We encourage you, as others have, to participate fully in this process and to ask questions at any time. Hey, what's going on? why haven't we heard anything lately? Or we're looking at applications or whatever. Come April, we will all have done our parts and we'll see what the universe delivers. Trust the process. Blessed be.
Our closing words come from Reverend Adam Robersmith. I was initially going to write them, but I was rereading this anthology last night, and he put it so much better. So I'm going to use his words. He said, "My understanding of religious community is centered in a love that must be shared to exist and grow, is powerful through relatedness, and sustains individuals while drawing them into community. Unitarian Universalism, I believe, can bring such community into being. By organizing through covenants, we affirm that relationship is at the core of our faith, that love is at the center. I have found a religious home here because we are a people of covenant, of relationship." Blessed be. Now we shall extinguish the flame. All right. We
extinguish
extinguish
this
this
flame,
flame,
remembering always to keep love
love
at the center.
Thank you.
So anybody who wants to join us in dancing, come and join us.